Hey y'all, I hope everybody's doing well. I'm Ashley Fields with Yoda to Us. Today is March 1st, 2021, and we are going to be working on polka dot and chevron Easter eggs. Let me get my comments pulled up. I know normally in the Academy I go live at 7. But today I had to go live at 2, so I hope you guys don't mind. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. Those of you that are here are going to come hang out with me. First thing I'm going to obviously do is get some Windex on here. I painted these maybe an hour and a half ago, but I've learned it doesn't matter how soon it's been since you started working on it. It is very easy to get impurities in that paint and then start kind of having issues. So here are the kind of sample ones I went with. For me, whenever I only have just one straight pattern, means I obviously this one's just chevron and this one's just polka dots. My brain just really, I like to paint things so that they correspond with one another. So I use the same colors so that you could actually display both of these together. When it comes to having a consistent pattern on a piece, I didn't want to use too many colors because then it just starts to get really busy for my eyes. So I prefer to kind of stick with 3 different colors. So we're going to actually be doing the samples the same way. The only difference is on this one, I obviously did a seafoam green background instead of purple because I just wanted to see if we might like that one better. So we're going to do the seafoam green polka dots, and then the chevron is the same exact. So just to let you guys know, I started with 1 coat of white on both pieces. The reason I always use white is because especially when you have lighter colors, the white is going to help bring those colors to life, make them very cool and warm, or very warm, not cool. And if I don't have that white underneath, I don't always have such a good color coming out. So I did 1 coat of white, and then all I'm using today is seafoam green, coral, and light purple. Obviously, my shader colors, I'm going to be using a few more, but as far as the base colors go, that is what I have. I also just washed paintbrushes today. This is how many paintbrushes I had in my paint bucket that obviously I have not been washing brushes very well. So I wanted to kind of show you guys how many shaders I have and then how I decide what shader I'm going to use. When we use the term shader, it's really just a flat tip brush. Okay, let me just pull all the shaders out because I want you guys to see how many I have and how I decide which ones I'm going to use. Also, you guys saw, hey Danae, you saw my my rag here with my paintbrushes. After I wash them, I always lay my paintbrushes down on their side because you don't want that water from those brushes coming up into the ferrule, the metal part. It's going to take that glue away that's really holding your brush together. So, ooh, I'm making a mess. So these are all the shaders that I have, okay? Now, obviously, I've got a lot of options. So whenever I'm going through and I'm doing a piece, I'm looking at, obviously, the width. Like, this one's a really, really wide one. So is this one. So this is like a 16. This one's probably a 14. Those are pretty wide. As far as what I'm dealing with today, that's really small. So anything that big is not going to work. So whenever I'm working in small areas, I kind of come for these smaller ones. Like this one's a number 12. A number 12 or a number 10 is going to be best. I'm just going to pull out a few of my small ones and we'll work with these today. Honestly, I'll probably stick with this one, the number 12, more than I do any other ones. Okay, so I have coral on my base. I'm going to use shading orange. Let me pull... I didn't even pull my cart over yet. I'm gonna get a little bit more shading orange in my cup because I don't have very much. Y'all, these eggs are really fast. They're very easy, at least the polka dot and the chevron, because you don't have so much going on. It really takes a lot of time. So if you're somebody selling painted pieces, these are great options because you could do them rather quickly. So when it comes to coral, I use shading orange for my shading color. I think I might have put a little too much water in there. Might add just a little bit more paint. I really always try to get it to this exact kind of thickness and texture. All right. Now, obviously number 12, I'm just going to be dipping in this corner just a little bit. And I'm really trying to keep it just in that corner. I don't want the whole width of the brush because I want to keep it on the thinner side. This piece doesn't have that much room. So when it comes to the chevron, I do not do the perimeter. I leave that perimeter completely open. So I basically just take my lines from one side to the other, but I don't actually fully enclose them in, if that makes any sense. All right, top, same thing here at the bottom. The reason I'm using this smaller shader is because I do want that shading at the top and at the bottom. So if I was using a brush that's a lot bigger than that, it would be kind of hard. So there's just my start. Obviously, I did not put any up here at the top because I am not trying to do a perimeter of shading. Y'all, I got dog hair all over that piece. All right, same thing over here on the polka dots. Hey, Debbie. Hey, Carolyn, Danae. Thank y'all so much for hanging out with me. At the beginning, I was saying that I usually don't go live at 2 in Yodert Academy, but I had some things going on tonight, so we had to do 2 o'clock. So sorry about that, but thank y'all for bearing with me and hanging out. For me, on the polka dot and on the chevron, I like to do a color scheme with 3 different colors. I feel like because this is all one solid pattern, if I start trying to bring too many colors in here, it just gets really busy. And so I really am doing these in the same color scheme. That way they can be displayed together. That's just my own personal brain and how my brain works. I'm using a number 12 a flat tip brush. We always call it a shader. This is a royal gold. I know we used to have these in the store. I don't think we do anymore. I really need to probably order some more. But I'm just kind of coming in here and getting a little shading done on the perimeter of my circles and obviously on my chevron as well. My sample one of this that I did has a purple background, but I thought let's try it out with seafoam green, and I'm really loving that seafoam green. So it's just seafoam green background with coral polka dots and a little bit of shading orange. Debbie says, just happened to see it live. Well, I'm so glad you happened to see me, dear. Y'all, this one's gonna be a fast one. Now on Thursday, I have my Peace Gnome. And I think we'll be doing good to get that one done in an hour and a half because it's gonna be a long one because there's a lot of details on there. But I know I go live at 2 and then I have to go pick up the kids from school at 3:30, so I have to be done by 3:30. So hopefully y'all can come hang out with me Thursday at 2. I think that tutorial is gonna be probably one of the funnest ones I'm looking forward to and I feel like I've ever done, but it is time consuming. All right, so shading orange on my coral. I'm gonna switch now. That seafoam green, I like to use teal. So I'm gonna grab a little teal and just mix it together. I'm gonna stick with the same brush this whole time because if I'm changing brushes, let's say, and maybe grabbing a brush that's a little bit bigger, this is the one I am currently using, but let's say I grabbed one of these two. My lines and the thickness of my lines isn't quite gonna match each other. So I wanna stay with that same brush just so I feel like the thickness of every line, it kind of coordinates with everything else. All right, a little bit of teal, and I'm really just trying to keep it on that side of my brush. I'm trying to keep the whole other side of my brush dry. And I'm gonna just right back up to all of my lines. I'm doing my shading both at the top and the bottom of each color. I'm also keeping it off of the perimeter, meaning I'm not doing shading or outlining on the circle of the perimeter of our piece. I kind of just want my lines to almost just fall off on these edges. All right, so just a little bit of a teal and really just coming in here and following along with these lines. You don't have to be perfect. We are going to come in here with a script liner and clean up in between where your colors meet at the end. All right. So far we got some shading orange on our coral, and we have teal on our seafoam green. Now on here, I'm going to do perimeter on here. I just don't care for the perimeter when it comes to a chevron look. Also, on my sample, I obviously am changing. My sample is a purple background, and here I'm doing seafoam green. But notice I outlined the polka dots with purple. I'm going to actually shade them with teal, and let's just see if I like it shaded. It might just be something that I prefer. I prefer to be outlined or using a script liner on. I don't know. We'll have to just see how it comes out. But we're going to just try it together because I thought, that might actually look really good. No idea if it's going to look good, but we're going to do it. We're going to find out. That one was not a perfect circle, that's for sure. Y'all, what has everybody been up to today? I spent an hour on the phone before my live with Verizon. The little jetpack that I use, it's a portable Wi-Fi is what it is. They call it a MiFi. I use it to do my lives because the internet connection here at my house isn't very reliable. I'm noticing I got a little bit of paint here at the end and I don't want that much. So I'm just really gonna take my shirt and kind of pinch out that excess paint because I need to keep this side dry. Hey, Carla. But I spent, like I said, almost an hour on the phone with Verizon because that little MiFi I use, I'm already out of data. And the data doesn't come back on for 2 weeks, which means I wouldn't be able to use it to go live. So I called them and I was like, hey, we used up all of our data when we had this winter storm down here because our cell phones weren't working and that sort of thing. You know, and I was like, is there any way you guys can give me some more data before, you know, my next billing cycle? And she's like, sure, we'll sell you some more for $300 or $35 or something like that. And I was like, ma'am, our phones were not working. And we pay them like $450 a month for all of our phones and all of the devices that we have. And I said, you really want me to pay, you know, another $35? Are you shooting? Or I just said the bad word, but you know, are you kidding me? And she's like, well, let me talk to my supervisor. She finally put me on hold and she went and asked her supervisor, and she comes back on the line. She said, we are so sorry about that. Yes, we're going to give you some more data for your jetpack, so it'll be good to go, no charge, da-da-da-da. But I was like, really? Why did I have to call and argue with y'all? But that's just kind of been what's been going on. Danae just sitting at work. Yes, Debbie, packing. Packing is, are you moving or are you just packing up stuff so that you can work on getting fixes at your house? Danae, I hate Verizon. Yes, but honestly out here we live in the sticks and we don't get very good, yeah, I wasn't cursing at the lady. I was really nice. But out here we don't get good service. So we are very limited as to what cell phone company we can use. I had T-Mobile for years and I switched from T-Mobile. Yes, they're cheap, but I never had service with T-Mobile anywhere. And Zach always had service and he always had Verizon, you know, but I was like, $450 a month and you want me to pay another $35. Don't think so. Yeah, good, Debbie. So remodeling, you're not actually having to move. Well, I'm sorry to hear that, Debbie. I know that it's not, I'm sure it's not fun. But I've been thinking a lot about you. I hope you get your house back to normal soon. So, yes, yeah, Danae, having one phone makes a difference, y'all. We got 3 phones. We have our portable Wi-Fi. We have 2 watches and something else. So it's a lot. All right, y'all. There is the polka dots. I did a little bit of shading around that polka dot, and I personally think it looks a lot better with the shading around the polka dot as opposed to just using a script liner. Tell me what y'all think. I think the shading's better. Okay, we got one more color. Let's do a little bit of purple. Let me see. Y'all, I got so many, I have like 30 different cups up here on my table. And so every time I'm looking for something, it's hard to find because I just have too much stuff. A little bit of shading purple. Oh, y'all, hey, while you're here, check it out. Here's a new March pattern. How stinking cute. Just so y'all know, this one is in store right now. It is 23 tall, I think 30 wide, and it's $35. We are like running really behind. I don't even think we've got the March calendar put out to you guys yet. But we've been having a lot of issues. My mom's been having issues with her printers and stuff at their house. So they've been down, computer issues, all sorts of stuff. And so it's really kind of just thrown us for a tailspin, and everybody's just a little bit behind. My mom's behind, I'm behind. So y'all bear with us. I think we're gonna do a sneak peek like next week, but we're gonna keep March a little light. I know we're doing Mary for the nativity scene this month. We're gonna do that gnome, sweet gnome. I know last year we sold some of the Astros gnomes, but we never did any tutorials, so like it's really baseball gnomes. So we're gonna have those this year, except instead of it saying go Astros, it's gonna say play ball. I'm trying to think what else we might have. I don't know. Mary, anything else I'm missing? I know next month, and yeah, next month I wanna say we're doing a lot of patriotic stuff, so that'll be fun. Lots of cute stuff that'll be coming up, but I know this month we're just kind of behind a little bit. Okay, just a little bit of shading purple. Now I need to just blow dry this for a second and get my paint to dry. All that's really left is I'm gonna come in with a script liner and just kind of touch up my lines just a little bit, not much. Hey Pam, how are you doing, hon? Hey, those of you that weren't here at the beginning, because I know nobody expected me on at this time and today, obviously. I have one coat of white as my base. I use the coat of white as the base because these light colors are going to really show up and pop a lot better if you have a white base underneath. So one coat of white, and then I have coral, seafoam green, and light purple. And then as far as shading goes, I'm using shading orange on coral, I'm using teal on seafoam green, and then I am using shading purple on purple. I know I've also said it, but I'm doing that on purpose to keep these color schemes similar, because I like to create displays that things really match, and I just love these colors together. And I really think on a single pattern like chevron or polka dots or stripes or anything like that, I don't want to do more than 3 colors. I just feel like it gets too busy. So I'm kind of just sticking with 3. Now, I know I'm going to, I outlined my lines on my chevron with shading purple. And so obviously we're just recreating one I've already done. So I really like that. But I'm looking over here, and whenever I did my sample, that third color, I just used it as almost like a highlight on the polka dot. And so I think I'm just gonna do a purple highlight on the polka dot. What I'm sitting here trying to decide is what color to outline my polka dots with to just clean up some of that white in between there. I don't know if you can see some of that white. Obviously that doesn't look quite finished. I think I'm gonna use just some shading orange to clean that up just a little bit. Not much. Had I outlined my polka dots as opposed to shading around the polka dots, obviously that outline would really clean it up, but I like the look of the shade on here, so I'm gonna leave it. Those are the colors. Carolyn says these are the colors she gravitates to. Yes, I so get that. And I don't know, like I said, it's just, to me, if you do a trio of colors, there's just something about it that merely helps it come together in my eyes. So I'm just going to use a little bit of shading orange and my script liner. All I'm doing at this moment is just cleaning up any of the white that I can see where my lines are just not crisp. Not a whole lot, just a little bit. I just love this seafoam green background. I love it, I love it, I love it. Definitely like it more than my purple sample. I don't know if you guys seen too, I posted some photos of another color scheme with, I think it's sky blue, yellow, and pink. That's another really cute color scheme together. So if you're maybe not feeling these colors, that's another good option. And then I know Danae posted some photos of her Chevron eggs and stuff, and they're really cute, super cute color combos on there. I think she did like light pink, shading pink, and white, I want to say. And then maybe she did like a, I think Danae, didn't you have a blue one too? I just really liked the colors that she came up with as well. Okay, so just kind of cleaned up those lines a little bit. Let's just finish this one out while I have it. I'm gonna get a little bit of my shading purple. In fact, let me just fill this up a little bit so I can make sure I have enough for this one over here. Just gonna get a little shading purple. I'm gonna just use my script liner. Y'all, this is just our number 4 Royal Gold script liner. It's just a newer one. It's not bent up like my old one. And in fact, I really think I'm gonna throw my old one away. I washed it earlier, and then, you know, I even looked at it, I was like, I think it's time. It needs to go in the trash, you know. Carla says, I love pink and yellow together. Me too. They just go so well together. And Debbie says, I like the shading polka dots. Thank you, Debbie. I think so too. Doesn't that look so much better? I just feel like it makes it pop a little more. Y'all, I'm just gonna take some of the shading purple and almost like I would do with the white highlight inside of our circles, I'm just doing that with the shading purple. So like an open C. Now, whenever I'm doing this, I'm trying not to do it at the same location every time. So I kind of did this one over here down towards the bottom, up here towards the side. I'll bring this one over here. This one down at the bottom. Maybe this one towards the top. And then I really am just looking at all the other ones and just trying not to be uniform with where I am coming in with my little highlight almost, if you will. All right, just a little bit of purple on there. Even you could use the light purple too. That might even look better, but we already got it on there. It is what it is, right? I'm gonna move this one. And then now on here, I'm just gonna use the shading purple, you know, almost like as an outline, just to clean up my lines in between every color. Obviously, as you can see, they're not perfect. You can see a little bit of white. You could see where I might have crossed over those lines. And so the whole point of this is just to kind of clean that up so that it's not so blatant and obvious when you look at it. So I'm just gonna stay right there on those creases and just smooth out those lines. Really not much to it. Whenever I did my sample, I actually did this with teal, but I didn't feel like the teal didn't quite cover the shading purple. It just wasn't dark enough. So I ended up coming back over that teal with the shading purple. I just thought it had a better contrast. Yo, I'm like kind of loading my brush and then almost offloading my brush. I'm trying to keep my lines very thin, not too thick. Then I almost just come back and dip just the tip of my brush in. That way it kind of just keeps the paint right at the end. Okay, we'll flip it around and just keep on going. Clean up every line that you got on here. Nice and easy. Almost there. I know whenever I'm outlining, I definitely don't talk or pay attention to comments as much because I'm got to focus a little bit more. Let me touch this one up just a little bit. Okay, so shading purple, kind of just cleaning up those chevron lines. Now, only thing I got left to do is just get a little bit of white. Again, stick with my same brush. Let me cap this and move it. Wash that brush out just a little bit. And add a little white highlight, and then this guy will be done. Okay, now when it comes to white, y'all, I know I need a lot of water. A lot of times I'll start mixing it and then I just have to keep adding more water and more water and more water until I get the desired thinness of the paint. I don't like it very thick when I'm doing outlines. I like it really, really thin. Hey Victoria, I miss seeing you, honey. She says, I painted these mix today too. Awesome, I can't wait to see your finished look. Victoria, I was telling everybody, maybe there's a word for this or kind of a term used. But for me, whenever I'm doing a very specific pattern like chevron or polka dots or stripes or something like that, I personally like to just do like a trio of colors so that way it doesn't become too busy. I find that to be like more appealing to the eye. I don't know if other people feel that same way too. Okay, y'all, I'm really loading that brush and now I'm almost just taking it all right back off. I'm just gonna use what little bit I have inside of here. Now, I wanna show you guys this because for me, I struggled with this for a while. When I've done chevron in the past, for me, it's really hard to kind of decide where I'm gonna put my highlights because if I come on every single line and add a highlight and keep on coming all the way down, to me, it just becomes way too much. So I almost just kind of, on my top lines, I'll stick with the highlight on one side, and then the bottom lines of that color, I do an opposite. So that's what I'm gonna pretty much do here. I'm gonna take my white and just come in just a little bit here at the top. And then, woo, the top of my lines here, I'm gonna kind of stick on the left side. Notice how the right side of my lines, I did not put a highlight. Now at the bottom and down here, or the next line down, I'm just going opposite. So this time I'm going on the right side. And then I'm just continuing that same thing. So the top part, I go on one side. The bottom part, I do the opposite. Y'all, I love doing chevron, but for whatever reason, when I've gone to outline and highlight it in the past, it always just was one of those things that I never cared for the finishing touches that I was making on it. Like it was always just kind of missing something, and I just really feel like this kind of helps button it up just a little bit better. Take a little bit of white down that bottom. That line was not very smooth. We'll make do. And there is your chevron one. Hey Kitty, how are you? Victoria says 3 is always a good color combination. Yup, I agree. Now on my polka dot one, on my sample polka dot one, I didn't do any white highlights, but I'm realizing I really should have. I'm just kind of do it on the perimeter, almost just on the inside of that perimeter shading that I have. And those are my 2 pieces. Super cute, y'all. They're done. I'm not gonna add anything more to them. I like them just the way they are. I don't wanna keep adding more because I feel like it just can become too much, okay? So I have 1 coat of white as a base. On top of that, I used coral, light purple, and seafoam green. For my shading on my coral, I used shading orange. Shading on seafoam green, I used teal. And shading on my purple, my light purple, I used shading purple. That was it. And then a little bit of white. And there is your finished look. Also, I got some water on that. But here is, I guess if you really wanted to do 3 of them, they all kind of go together. That was my sample one, but I wanted to see what it looked like with seafoam in the background. I think the seafoam's a lot better than the purple, personally. But I just love how these coordinate together. You can create a little display in the front yard with, you know, like color schemed items together. I just love it. I love it. I love it. And then I know, Kitty, I know you just got on. Let me show you this. This is one of our new blanks for March. Gnome Sweet Gnome. This is a Terry Burton pattern, if I'm not mistaken. I'm pretty sure it's Terry Burton. So it's not a template that we can sell because it's not our template, but it is a blank that we have in store now, and we will have the tutorial on this month. I cannot recall, I want to say we don't have the March calendar posted yet, but I know we'll be getting that posted soon. I am live on Thursday with our Peace Gnome. I showed you guys the swirl tie-dye hat on live last week one day. So this week we're going to do the circle tie-dye hat where you kind of just start with a little one color in the middle and then just let it gradually fan out. So that live I have at Thursday at 2. Honestly, it'll probably be an hour and a half. I'll be doing good to get it done in an hour and a half because it's a lot. But it's such a gorgeous piece. I think the end result you guys will love, love, love. And you'll also realize, hey, it's not that hard. I think I can show you guys some pretty easy ways how to really bring this guy to life. So this is the one we'll be doing on Thursday, 2 o'clock in the Painters Club. I hope you guys can catch me then. So until next time, y'all, we will get that calendar put out soon. I will be here, or not in the Academy, but I'll be at the Yard Rest Painters Club Thursday at 2. I hope you guys can join me then. If y'all have any questions, as always, post them in the comment section, and I'll come back and check them and answer anything I need to. Y'all enjoy the rest of your Monday. Y'all enjoy the rest of your week. I will see you guys in a few days. Bye, everybody. Thanks for hanging out.